In this episode of Book of the Beast, we're going to be going over Warbuggies. This is going to be a quick one. There's not a whole lot to say to these guys. They really haven't changed a whole lot. You can see they're still using the old model here in the picture. I was really hoping for a new model of these guys, but because this one is just, I mean, it's not so much the model itself, it's just the guys, and they're just horrible. So they've gone down in price. Let's see, you got Twin Link Big Shooter for 25 points, and they've gained the outflank rule, which is very, very interesting, and really ups the potential for buggies to be a viable unit. Because if you can outflank them in, that means they're not going to be sitting there for that first couple of turns, just getting shot at and blown off the table. But the fact that they can outflank, they'll be able to come in and do some damage when you need later in the game. Because, of course, anything can score, so they can even score objectives. I think adding to the outflank rule really changed my opinion on Warbuggies quite a bit. Because I always thought Warbuggies were the single worst unit in the last codex, even more than Flash Kits. At least Flash Kits had enough firepower to do something. These guys were just horrible. But adding outflank adds some survivability, adds some viability. Especially, say you can start getting side armor shots against like Predators and Chimeras and other Imperial Guard artillery. Getting those side shots, these guys outflanking, huge benefit. So let's see, what are the options? So you can go up to 5 buggies in a unit. See, you can add a war track to any of them for 5 points per model, which allows them to reroll failed dangerous terrain tests. You can add in swap out the Twin Link rocket launcher for free. That's kind of cool. You can give them a red paint job for 5 points per model, extra armor, and Grot Riggers. Grot Rigger gives them it will not die. I probably wouldn't give them that because they're not going to survive long enough to roll that hull point back, because they still only have 2 hull points. I wouldn't give them the extra armor because it doesn't matter. I wouldn't bother with the red paint job. So 5 of these guys with Twin Link rockets outflanking at 125 points. That's awesome. These guys could definitely do some damage, no doubt about that. Scorcher, how much is a Scorcher? 10 points extra for the Scorcher. So heck, just one 35-point outflanking heavy flamer could be really cool too. So Warbuggies have definitely, I think the outflank has completely, as I said, completely changed the viability of Warbuggies. You don't have to deploy them, so they don't have to get shot at with bolters and give up your first blood so easily. But being able to outflank gets those side armor shots against especially Imperial Guard vehicles and Space Marine Predators. Maybe even getting the rear shots on Wave Serpents so that they can't benefit from the Serpent Shield. Makes the Warbuggies, useful. And they're cheap enough where they can go in and if they kill something like a Wave Serpent or a Manticore or a Wyvern, they've totally earned their points back. There's no doubt. If they kill a Wyvern, they've done their job. No two ways about that. So again, this is going to be a really short one. There's not a lot else to say. They didn't change a lot. They went down in price. The rockets went down in price, and they gained outflank, which I think is a great. I mean, I think that's a brilliant. To be honest, it's probably one of the most innovative, brilliant, and unexpected changes in this book. Giving the Warbuggies outflank totally changes my opinion of them from something that was the worst unit in the old codex to something that's actually viable and useful, cheap enough to do a job, and because after they come in and do something, and you got 5 buggies sitting out there, they're going to be a threat. They're going to have to get shot at. They're going to take firepower away from something else. So yeah, Warbuggies definitely have gained quite a bit in this new book over the previous one, where I thought they were just useless. Now, not so much. I think Warbuggies are going to be worth taking, and you always want to outflank them if you do take them. Always. I mean, even for just objective grabbing, just run on and grab an objective. Come on, they're 12 inches, and then they can, since they're fast vehicles, they can flat out too. They're 12 inches, so they're almost as fast as war bikes, or they're as fast as war bikes or Storm Boys, and they're cheap enough and have enough firepower, just enough firepower to make them useful being able to outflank and get those side armor shots. Or maybe even get their big shooters, who take in big shooters, and get them behind the Aegis defense line. So your opponent's Imperial Guard, who are hiding behind the defense line, can't get their cover save. Great ways to use Warbuggies. Would I take rockets or Scorch? I would take a single Scorcher unit, just a single Scorcher track, outflanking, and then maybe even all 5. If you're gonna run them as an outflanking unit, why not just take all 5? I mean, 125 points for that kind of firepower is worth it, I think, with that ability to outflank, and just screw with your opponent. Put those units that are sit back on the objectives in a lot of threat, and take objectives themselves, because now that they can do that in this new book. So the combination of the outflank and being able to actually score objectives makes Warbuggies actually useful. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're worth the points in an army overall. I might still probably prefer Death Copters, because at least they can assault. But they have definitely gained enough to earn my recommendation as giving them a try as an outflanking distractionary and damage unit. So it's going to be a quick one, but that's going to be it for this episode of Book of the Beast. I'll talk to you guys later.